In a recent meeting of the Citizens Coinage Advisory Committee, potential and proposed designs for the 2026 Semiquincentennial celebration circulating coinage were considered, minted to celebrate the nation's 250th anniversary in 2026, with an eye to making recommendations for the final designs. The dime, which has the theme of liberty over tyranny, had a total of 13 revised designs for the obverse of the coin, many representing design variations on the same basic template or idea. To my eye, at least, many of these seem to have been at least inspired by some of the early coinage from the US Mint, like the flowing hair or capped head liberty designs. The reverse of the dime only had 8 proposed designs, and again, these were 2 variations each on 4 design ideas or visions. 2 of these remain fairly standard to the now familiar design with the torch, but designs 2 and 3 feature an eagle instead. And again, design number 3 is somewhat reminiscent of the small eagle design from the 1796 era coinage. There were also 5 $quarter designs up for discussion, each one dedicated to a critical time or a movement in US history. The first is the Declaration of Independence themed quarter, and here a total of 9 revised designs were under discussion for the obverse of the coin, all of which feature Lady Liberty in one guise or another, in most of which she is seen either holding or writing the Declaration of Independence itself. Here I have to admit that most, if not all, of the designs are actually pretty good designs. The reverse of the coin, on the other hand, had no fewer than 17 proposed designs under consideration, with only about half of those being variations on the same design. The range of the designs for this coin is actually quite impressive, ranging from classic patriotic iconography towards the more metaphorical. An acorn of liberty taking root, Independence Hall, the Liberty Bell itself, and a quill or a pen signing or simply beginning to write the nation's founding document. And again, inspiration from the chains or possibly the Fujio scent with 13 interlocked circles. Again, not all of these are fantastic, but it is a shame that only one has to be chosen. The second $quarter is awarded the theme of the US Constitution. The 5 obverse design candidates represent 4 different interpretations of Lady Liberty seeking a path forward for the newly independent nation in those early decades when the United States was seeking its own way into the family of nations. And for the reverse of the 2026 US Constitution $quarter coin, there were a total of 13 revised design candidates presented for consideration. As the theme was the US Constitution, that's a fairly nebulous design concept, and as you might well imagine, there were, well, a few varieties of different design proposals. Most of the artists chose to include those famous words that open the US Constitution, "We the people," somehow in the design of the coin itself as well. Some of these designs are genuinely impressive though, although not all of them would be practical, I feel, to produce at a larger scale. The third quarter is dedicated to the theme of the abolitionist movement in the 1800s, with the obverse of the coin prominently featuring Frederick Douglass in various stages of his life, from a young, clean-shaven man to an older gentleman with a full beard. Here, 8 design candidates were proposed for consideration for the use on the obverse of the coin. The reverse design, though, saw no fewer than 11 design candidates submitted for consideration to be used on the reverse design for the 2026 abolitionism commemorative $quarter coin, with most of the designs featuring the symbolic idea of chains being broken or shattered, people moving forward towards the lights of freedom, and one idea even featuring the Liberty Bell itself. Some interesting designs, but overall very I would say conservative or safe choices were made by the artists. Not really one that jumps out at you and just screams, yes, this is a great design. It will certainly be interesting to see which of these end up getting chosen for the final production. The fourth of these 5 quarters for the 2026 and the Semiquincentennial celebrations is set to represent the suffrage movement that culminated in the 19th Amendment to the Constitution in 1920 that afforded women the right to vote. The obverse only had 4 design proposals, all fairly similar to one another. A suffragette marching with a slogan that said, "Votes for women." The reverse of the coin saw 6 proposed design candidates put forward for consideration by the committee, all of which were surprisingly distinct from one another, but still sharing a common theme. Design candidate 1 is basically identical to the Women's Suffrage Centenary Medal issued in 2020, but the rest of the designs are at least sufficiently inventive. The 5th and final $quarter coin is themed around the civil rights movement, with most designs taking inspiration from events in the 1950s to the 1960s. The 6 proposed designs for the obverse of the coin all feature a young girl representing the end of segregation of the education system and a hope for the future. Meanwhile, the reverse design candidates, which number 8 in total, mainly, at least for the majority of the designs, take inspiration from the organized civil rights movement from the 1960s and historical protests and marches in the name of equality, especially designs 1, 2, 4, and 5, which reference historical events, while design 3, 6, and 7 are more symbolic in their representation of the idea of civil rights. That then brings us to the design candidates for the 2026 250th anniversary $half coins, which is meant to represent the theme of participatory democracy. The obverse had 6 design candidates proposed for consideration, each featuring a representation of liberty in different guises, from a more naturalistic to definitely a more abstract artistic interpretation. The reverse of the participatory democracy $half had 10 design candidates submitted for consideration during this round. With the exception of designs 1 and 2, most of these are basically variations on the same idea, knowledge being the only true guardian of liberty, and ensuring that the light of truth does not get extinguished by passing it on to the next generation. So which designs do you think are best suited for the 2026 Semiquincentennial circulating coin program? Or which ones do you think are simply the best? Subscribe to WNN and feel free to watch another video about the greatest US modern coins right here next. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.